friends. Today I'm going to show you how to set up a sublimation printer. I will do all the steps from putting the ink inside to getting it running on your computer. It's a very simple process, but I will walk you through the steps so you'll know exactly what to do. Now, the printer that I have chosen to purchase is the Epson ET3850. ET stands for Eco Tank, and that is the type of printer you're going to need if you want to be able to sublimate items. Now, when I opened the box, these are the items that were inside. Of course, you have your AC plug. You have your disc and your instructions. Like I said, I will walk you all the way through to getting this up and running on your computer as well. And then you get these 4 ink bottles. The black is always the largest because we tend to use black more, and black is basically in every color that you print. Even pink has black, so this is a larger bottle for that reason. Now, the thing that you need to be sure and do is when you get this tank, you will not be using this ink. This is not sublimation ink. This works great for your inkjet printer. So I already have one. This will just be an added set of inks for my regular printer that I use. Now, if you do not need these inks, you can sell them on Facebook. I'm sure this is the most popular form of ink now in the latest printers. So we'll lay those aside because you do not need them. Now, since you won't be using the ink that comes with the printer, you will need to purchase a sublimation ink. This is the actual ink that's going to create the process of science that's going to sublimate your items. It can't be done with just regular ink. It has to be sublimation. So I got this from Amazon, and when I was searching, I typed in that I had the Epson ET3850, and it said this is the ink bottles that I would need. Now, this is important because these bottles will be turned over and poured into the ink tanks. So you want to make sure that the bottles you purchase are the actual bottles that are going to fit to fill in your tanks. So let's get started, and we will get this ink into the printer. Okay, the first thing that you want to do is go into your apps and download the Epson app. It's the Smart Panel app, and we're going to search for it here at our search bar. We want to type in Epson Smart Panel, E-P-S-O-N, Epson Smart Panel. And there you see it, Epson Smart Panel. We're going to get that app. Now, as you see here, the Epson Smart Panel app is ready to open. We're going to open that. Of course, there's agreement and a privacy statement, so you hit the agree button, the OK button. Okay, so first off, you want to make sure and remove all the pieces of the blue tape on the outside and the inside of the printer. So we're going to push the power button. That's going to power on for us. Now, once this powered on, if you should happen to have gotten an error message, then you want to go ahead and look back in the printer. Maybe one of those blue tabs was left that you didn't see. I know that there was one in the back that I didn't see when I was pulling them off. So if you should get that error message, you can check for that, because that's more than likely what your problem is going to be. Now, here's where we choose our languages. So once you see your language, you choose OK. And then it says scan the code to set up this printer with your smartphone or other smart device using the Epson Smart Panel app. So that is the app that we downloaded. So we'll just go into our camera. We'll go over. And we're going to scan that code. Now it's telling me on here to open the Epson app in Safari. Let me just set this up here, maybe you'll be able to see it. Now what this says on the screen is that this app will interactively walk you through your product. So we're going to do the setup and everything. Okay, so what it's saying is to go ahead and update your app to the latest version. We just downloaded the app, so we should be good to go there. Now it says open the app and tap the plus button in the upper corner to add your printer. It had a few little just explanations there on the front. So you see that the plus button here. If you can see that plus button right there in the corner. So we're going to tap that, and this will be setting up our printer. So now it's saying on the next screen, make the following settings if a configuration screen about location information is displayed. So we're going to hit next. It wants to use our current location. Now it's asking us, would you like to check if your product is supported? We really don't need to. Okay, we're going to set up a new product. It says, thank you for choosing Epson. Let's get started. You go with continue. It wants to use the Bluetooth, so of course we want to allow that. Just let's make sure the product is turned on. Now what it's doing, it's searching for the printer from my iPad. Now you can do this from your phone, you can do this from your desktop. And if you want to print from multiple items, then you would need to set up your printer on each item. And it would be in the same fashion that we're doing now. Okay. Now it says the Et3850 series is here, so we're going to select it. It says, are you sure you want to select it? Yes, we do. I recommend downloading the app. It simply walks you through the steps so easily. So I would just prefer to download the app, and everyone knows how to download apps now. So this makes it so easy. So now what that's going to have to do, it says it's ready for ink initialization. So we're just going to push continue, and it's going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. It says we'll guide you step by step. Now it says stay in front of the printer and do not turn the printer off while it is setting up this initialization. So you want to push continue. Now what's happening is the app is sending information to the printer. And just because we added a different ink, it's no different than if you use the ink that came with the printer. The only difference is going to be you're going to be able to print sublimation as opposed to just printing a piece of copied paper that you're doing a picture of, or a file, or a document off of your computer. That's when you would use the other ink, but it's not interchangeable. Once this ink goes in, this is from now on a sublimation printer. So if you want to use the other inks, that will be just a regular printer. So it says, let's start with the ink. Open the scanner unit with both hands until it locks, then open the ink tank cover. So to do that, if you have the same printer that I've purchased, there's a little trick here to get this part of the scanner open. This must be open in order to access this lid here. So there's a little black tab here. You just push that in, and then you lift up. Now that lifted up the scanner lid. Then you will just pull this tank lid open. And you'll see here that there's the black The blue is a cyan. The pink sort of color is magenta. And you have the yellow, which is represented by Y. Now what you want to be sure and do when you open your inks, you're going to be applying them to the specific ink well that matches the color. So we're going to unlock or unscrew the lid to our ink, and we're going to open the black. And it's gravity fed, so once you turn this over, there's no need to squeeze the bottle or anything like that, but you just go ahead and put that right down in there. As the ink is flowing out of the bottle and into the reservoir is going to fill up, and then it's just going to stop because it's basically emptied the entire bottle down into the ink well here. So you're just going to lift that back off. And replace your lid. And your bottle is empty. You want to be sure and close the black lid down, and we will do the blue, which is the cyan. I'm going to make sure you start with the C, goes with the C, and it's the same process. Remove the lid, turn the ink bottle over onto the tip there, and insert it down. And you can hear the ink start to fill into the reservoir as well as see it through these windows on the front. We're going to complete this process for all of the other colors. Once the blue is finished, we'll add the yellow and the magenta. Okay, now all the ink has drained from the bottles. I did have some ink left over. What happens is the gravity will fill these ink wells and it stops once the ink well is full. So it'll stop on its own, then you just have to remove it, replace your cap, and then when you are running low on ink, you have more to fill up. This brand that I chose, I ended up with extra ink there. You can see it a little bit better in the yellow. So there is extra ink here, except for the black. The black is a larger tank, and it did take the entire bottle of black. So you'll just throw that bottle away, securely tighten your other bottles, so you can add them to your ink when it gets low, and you would add them in the same fashion that we just filled them. Of course, this one was not open. Okay, so there we go. You want to make sure that these are, of course, kept out of reach of children. It looks like a yummy drink, so you want to make sure that this is secure and safe from children in your home, and keep them out of direct sunlight. They'll store just fine until you're ready to add them to your ink wells when you get low. So the very next thing we do is we go ahead and make sure these are all closed tightly. We will close back down our lid and then bring back our scanner printer lid there. Now the question it's asking is, are all the ink tanks filled? And they are, so we'll go with yes. Now what's going to happen is it's going to initialize this printer. Now I believe that means that it's going to take some of this ink that's in the reservoir and prepare the ink heads that are inside the printer. So it takes about 10 minutes, but that's what we're going to do, and you just press start. Let's start ink initialization. Now as this is being initialized, the ink is being initialized, you'll notice two things. On your screen here, there's a bar that's filling to show the progress of the initialization. Also, your power button is flashing. When this bar is full and the power button stops, your initialization process will be over. This takes about 10 minutes, so it just takes a little bit of patience. I know you're ready to start sublimating something, but this is an absolute necessary process to go through to get to that point. Okay, the screen is now saying initialization is complete. Move on to the print quality adjustments. So you just push OK on the printer. It says align the printer to get the best print quality. Now you can do all this on your own. It's very simple. It's no different than me sitting here telling you. This is walking you through everything. So now we're just going to check the print head nozzle, and it says to load paper. Now this is the paper that I purchased originally from the Office Depot store, and it's what I use when I want to use my infusible ink markers. So I'm going to see if it's going to work with this infusible ink printer, and I'll let you know once I've printed a few items. So we do need to load some paper in here to go ahead and get those print heads adjusted. So I'm going to take out some paper and load it into the printer. Okay, to load the paper in, you just simply pull down this little open lever here in the front and pull your paper tray out. Now this was packaged with the smaller paper adjustment in the smaller area. So you just have to squeeze in this little tab there on the blue one, and then that opens it up to put in your 8.5 by 11 paper. Load the paper right in there, close the door, and then reinsert the drawer. You want to pull out the tray that's going to catch your paper as it comes out of the printer. And then we're just going to print. Okay, now what it's asking us is to check the printed pattern and select the closer result to what's showing here on the printer. Now that the ink is in the printer is ready. We have adjusted all the print heads according to the directions on the app. The only thing left to do now is to connect this to our Wi-Fi. Okay, so I'm going to show you quickly how to set up your Wi-Fi. Now mine's already set up, but I'll take you through the steps. This is your panel here that operates this screen. So as you push items here, they're going to affect the screen. So you see that can go back. So we're going to go into the Settings tab. General Settings. Network Settings. Wi-Fi Setup. Most people have wireless anymore, so we're going to select that. Then you will go down. That's my Wi-Fi setting there. So it will scroll and search for your Wi-Fi. Then you just select your Wi-Fi when you see it come up, enter your password, and that will have your printer on the Wi-Fi network so you can print your sublimation item straight to your printer. I enjoyed helping you with this today. If you have any questions that I may be able to answer for you, please put them in the comments below. Thank you for watching today, and so long.